G'day. A lot of drivers say that if they can only win one Formula One race, they'd want it to be Monaco. And yesterday, it was Max Verstappen's turn. I'm filming this on the Monday after the Monaco Grand Prix of 2021, and if you're a Max Verstappen fan, you would have been very happy with the result, and quite frankly, if you're a Carlos fan and a Lando fan, you would have also have been happy. But it's a good thing the race was on yesterday, because today, let me show you what we've got out here today. Grey skies and rain. But let me kick things off with Sunday. Beautiful weather, good crowd in attendance, and I reckon there were more than 7,500 people there. That's what I'd read earlier in the week, but it was just lovely seeing a crowd, because the first 4 races this year have been devoid of people, and I think we really missed it. Of course, we had drama before the race even started, with Charles Leclerc being out of the race, not able to start, which must have been just glorious news for Max, and to a certain extent for the other drivers as well. For me, the race was pretty much a procession, and I think apart from a couple of things that you saw that I didn't, and one thing I refer to as Valtteri's tyre not coming off the car, it was a pretty pedestrian sort of event. And given the restrictions, there was no way we could get anywhere near Shooting Parc Fermé, but I did manage to sneak some pics of the podium ceremony, and I was delighted to see Carlos and Lando having some fun. But the day was about Max Verstappen, and he indeed had his first win in Monaco, and now of course leads the championship, which is exciting for the sport. I think we need that to keep it interesting. And straight after the race, all the boats in the harbour blow their horns. Now, they actually did that on Saturday. Now, I'm told that's never ever happened before, and this is by photographers who've been doing F1 for some 30 years. And that was because Charles Leclerc, the hometown hero, had qualified on pole, but as we later found out, never actually got to start. And while there were a number of fans at the race, there were also some celebrities. I didn't know that Serena Williams was there until very late in the piece, and thank you to those of you on Insta and YouTube who send me messages via mainly Instagram saying, hey, Tom Holland's there, Serena Williams is there, Martin Garrix is there. That's very much appreciated. And I in fact got that note about Tom Holland and was on the lookout for him. I'll admit, never heard of the guy, never seen a Spider-Man movie, so I had to be briefed, and I saw him get out of a Porsche at the exit of swimming pool, and he'd done a hot lap. This is before the drivers' parade, and I just happened to be there, fluked it, and I didn't know it was him at the time. There was a photographer walking backwards, and then a young kid stopped him the other side of the track and got a selfie, and as Tom left, I said, who's that? And he goes, Tom Holland. I said, great. I couldn't believe it. He's got 44 million followers, Tom Holland. So I got that picture up quickly on my Instagram page. It did pretty well too. Not as well as my post about the podium with Max, Lando and Carlos in it. And I do apologise because I used that picture and the title that Max had won for one of my YouTube live streams, and I forgot altogether that some of you hadn't actually watched the race. So next time I'll put a picture of the start up and I'll say, let's talk about the Monaco GP, so I don't spoil it for you. Tom was actually a guest of Tag Heuer and had not only a Tag Heuer watch on, but also a Tag Heuer face mask. And I did note when I was zooming in on some of the pictures that even the girls on the stage at the end of the race were wearing that Tag watch, and I'm pretty sure that's a Monaco design. And those of you who are Tag Heuer experts will be able to tell me exactly what model that was, and in the comments below, please. I mentioned the crowd, and they were very excited. Probably 80% guys, 20% women. Many were watching from boats, but nowhere near as many as in years gone past. And there were a couple of boats that had nobody on their back decks during the race. What a great thing it is to be able to sit on the back of a boat and watch an F1 race, albeit a rather boring one. There are a couple of apartment buildings on the run up after turn 1 where there were just lots of people out on balconies, and this was the surprise for me, seeing this flag, an Australian flag with City Beach WA. Now, my home in Perth's probably less than 1.5 kilometres from City Beach, so it was nice to see that flag all the way over here in Europe. Be very wary about connecting to free public Wi-Fi. If it's unsecured, and that means you haven't had to put in a password or register, don't access your bank accounts or provide sensitive data on unsecured networks. It could come back to haunt you. the Drivers' Parade. Just great to see them going around, greeting the fans on two big trucks. Normally you'd have one, but with social distancing, they had to be kept apart. Nikita Mazepin had no trouble staying apart here, and neither did Kimi Räikkönen in the background there. Jumping all over the place here, I want to talk about the marshals. They are so dedicated at this race, and they stand with their full kit on and those reflective goggles and helmets, and they just watch straight ahead, and they're great for taking photographs in that reflection. Of course, we all take that shot. It's a great shot. And the marshals even do their own catering down here at the Nouvelle Chicane. I think all of us were surprised that Lewis Hamilton could only manage to qualify 7th, and on race day rolled up in this rather unusual outfit, like a onesie, a pair of overalls with some very loud blue shoes on. He's not frightened to have a crack in the fashion stakes, is he? So who else did I see at the track on the weekend? Jacques Villeneuve was there, and I'm delighted to say I have more hair than Jacques at the moment. Toto Wolff came in via boat and then got on a scooter and then headed in at some speed to the paddock. His wife Susie was also at the track. A couple of the drivers had their girlfriends with them this weekend. Charlotte came in on a bike with Charles on the Saturday. Charles was in very early on Sunday. He was in 6 hours before the race start, which he never took part in, obviously. Not a celebrity, but a well-known identity. Alex Albon was up the top of the Red Bull garage looking down on the action on quali. He is still very popular, and a lot of people want to see him back in Formula One. In the media centre afterwards, we were talking about whether Max gets to have dinner with the Prince after the race, because I think at some point, maybe it still is a thing, where the winning driver has dinner with the Prince. Now, I can't work out whether that's a prize or a punishment. I don't know what the man's like. Could be either, who knows? On Friday night, I went to the Amber Lounge fashion show and shot that. Really well run, lots of media, beautiful clothes on show, but to be honest, I was there for the drivers. And we don't know in advance which drivers are showing up. But there were 8 of them. 3 F1 drivers and then some F2 and Formula E drivers. So the 3 F1 drivers, Nicholas Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell. The boys looked great. They arrived early, got their hair and makeup done. And then there was a group photo call with Natalie Pinkham in the middle. And didn't she look fantastic? She's on my Women of the Paddock post as the lead picture, and technically I know she wasn't in the paddock when that picture was taken, but she was on F1 duties. So that's the group photo, and you can see here everyone's commenting how short Nick de Vries is. Well, to be fair, he's standing next to the very tall George Russell. But the 3 F1 drivers really stole the show and were very confident on the catwalk. Look, they did one pass out and back on their own, and then at the end, all of the drivers walked out along the catwalk and then down the front and left the stage. And pretty much after that, I know Antonio Giovinazzi said goodbye to a few people quickly and then left. And thereafter it was just models modelling fashion. This was interesting. I gather these are all sails from boats and been made into dresses. I'm not sure how comfortable they'd be, but in terms of pieces of art, yeah, it fit the bill. Yuki Tsunoda's got a new backpack. Notice that one, looks like it's a Christian Louboutin. It's certainly a step up from the backpack he had when I did my backpacks video, which I think I did in Bahrain. Up on the F1 podium was this very impressive Louis Vuitton trunk. Now I gather that's some sort of sponsorship deal, but gee, it was a very impressive piece of luggage. If you're not a YouTube member, I'm going to urge you to become one. Why? Over the weekend I decided I'd put up a couple of raw images from shots taken of cars coming out of the tunnel, which I took on Thursday. I put 2 up and I provided every one of my members with the opportunity to go and download those raw image files and work on them. And later this week, in real time, I will put up a post where I'll run through some of the edits that people have done. So if you're a photographer and you want to see what the raw image looks like, and then of course for those who aren't a photographer, what is a raw image? Look, it's a very big file with lots of information. And it's what comes out of the camera. There's no editing on it, it's completely flat. So it's a great opportunity if you're a reasonable editor and you'd like to edit a really nice picture. All of my members get access to those photos. There's certainly no doubt that Monaco offers something that the world rarely sees. And it's a real pleasure to have been here for this event. As I said before, the weather's turned nasty now. I'm off to Baku tonight, so it doesn't really matter. And given we're nearly finished here, how about you take a second, please, to click on the like button. If you haven't subscribed, here's your chance. We're up through, what are we now, 108,000 odd subscribers. Thank you for that. You're all appreciated. And I try to respond to as many comments as I can get to. If you want a picture of mine to frame and put on your wall, go to prostarpics.com, where you can download all of my digital images for personal use and then get them printed in your home city. You'll find my best pics on Instagram at Kim Illman, and for my 23 F1 driver photo books, all you have to do is go to kimillman.com and click order on my books. Thanks for watching and stay passionate. This was the surprise for me, seeing somebody with a... What the heck is that? What is that? There's a alert coming up on my screen I've never seen. Anyway, back to it.